live here. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Gimmick. Your third gimmick this month, and man, what an episode to talk about tonight. Whenever you're listening to this, in the morning, probably for some people. I am the number one Cody Rhodes fanboy, and I am joined by 12-1. Man, yeah, you had a good streak there, David the Phantom Self. How are you doing tonight? There's just one that got in the way, but makes sense because it was kind of a mixed up match happening.
I'm doing good. Like I said, 12-1. Had if I knew going into it that it was guaranteed to be Becky, then I may have bet on her as the countryman. But without that knowledge, it was hard to go with it. The only one I did not pick was I did not pick Randy's because that one was just too far off. Who, what, how could it be? There was too many variables with that. But out of the matches that I did pick, 12-1. So I am happy with these WrestleMania predictions.
And I feel like even if you would have been like, if someone been like, "Hey, David, I know it's gonna be Joe Henry," you would have been like, "All right, it's gonna be Randy going over." I would believe anybody that said, "Yeah, I would have picked Randy in the pool." It's like, yeah, I don't think in any world we're going into Backlash next month, Joe would get that win, but you never know. And then I'm joined by EO's guys, Wise man. He's looking for a job. He wants to be in damage control. SOS, how you doing tonight, sir?
Good.
All right, so let's get in this. We're going to do overall. So draft, we're just talking about Mania tonight, night 2. David, what do you think overall of night 2? Obviously, night 1 we talked about last night. People can go in the feeds and check that out. Kind of a mixed show where we all agreed that there were some rocky points, but there were some good, strong points as well. Some surprise matchups that it did really well. What did you think of tonight? Because obviously that was the whole buzz. Okay, how's it going to be? And usually night 1's not always, but I'd say like a good 80% is always like, that's the better night. So it was set up, but what did you think about the night overall?
I think that it started with the bang. It continued with the bang. Most of this was very good or comparable to last night. They had me all the way up until everything from Travis Scott's entrance on was just deflated. Like there was an immediately drop off the mountain at that point. But other than that, yeah, it was a great night. Everything building up to it. I am a fan of the Joe Hendry appearance. Yes, as TNA champion, you would have hoped that he would have got a little bit more shine, but I'm just happy to see Joe Hendry on the big stage. So I give that man his due with that. But other than that, yeah, it was much better than night 1 in my opinion, and just overall better matches.
Mm-hmm. What about you, S-Bubs?
Yeah, I'd say I sort of had like similar feelings as to night 1, but I definitely put night 2 above night 1. But I think there were also some points, but definitely much less. Like, I don't know. Now I think about it, it wasn't as similar to night 1, but I don't know. There were some points where I was like, it's okay. Or like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's weird because the night 1 had some mixed stuff, but then it was ebbs and flows. We talked about ended strong. To me, until not just because Joe Henry, I think those first 3 because I think it was 3 matches, right? It was the women's triple threat, is the street fight, and then what am I missing after that? That was still good.
The 4-way, I think.
Yeah, the 4-way, the 4-way, yeah. And then up into Joe Henry, someone changed. But those 3, I'd have to look. One, we'll get into it. I can make an argument for that being the best WrestleMania opener. I agree with everybody. I'm a Bret Hart guy, so it's one of these things where, yeah, usually it's Bret and Owen. I'm a big fan of Daniel Bryan and Triple H, but this is for sure in the top 3. It's hard for me because Bret and Owen one, I have that's 30 years old, and I have a lot of connections to that match. This is new, but we'll get to it specifically, but hot opening. But I'd have to look and see what's just like the best WrestleMania first 3 matches in a row, because they were just delivering on fire, many great moments. And then the Randy Joe Henry thing, we'll get into later. Nothing to do with that, but it's like that's where a switch kind of happened, because we got that, and then I was let down for different aspects of AJ and Logan Paul. The tag match I'm mixed on because they got what they wanted, the big pop and the big moment, but the match itself was, I think, kind of like the New Day thing. Like felt like just a Raw match, it didn't felt like anything special. And then the main event, which we'll start off with, because usually we go to the end or jump around. That's gonna be the talking point, right? That's what everyone's talking about. Main event. very odd situation. Entrances were fine. I liked Cena's entrance. It just come down to all black and the walk, no run. Cody's was weird with the bikes and the ramp. Like it just didn't. It just felt like just that
It
like
is
that.
random.
Yeah, that LA Knight Charlotte. It's just like sometimes it's like if you don't have anything, just don't do it. Just do the regular walk down. Just get a cool jacket. You got the mask that goes up and everything. But that main event, very odd, and it's so funny because we were talking about this with night one, and honestly, like main events have been the big conversation, right? We talked about how very rocky night one, but it ended very strong. We talked about what was it, double or Revolution a couple weeks ago, right? We're like, oh, that same situation. I think it's weird because I think the match really delivered. I think Cena was the best he's looked in quite a while. I think Cena, it's to the point that I think this was the perfect time to turn him, but his mannerisms as a heel were so great. He looked like the douchebag you just want to punch. He looked like the school jock. He looked like the asshole. Just little stuff of when Cody tied him up in the ropes and the ref count to 5, and he's like, get him off me, get him off me. And he looked like so disgusted that Cody was still like holding on to him. Like it was so good. And I thought the match was back and forth. We'll talk about the crowd also, because that one didn't go away I thought it was going to go. But then that ending, man, that is I have to, and I'm going to ask David because obviously, he's been watching it kind of the same amount of time I have. I don't know. Like what okay, we just had that WrestleMania 9 donks. When you think of worst endings, for me, this is at least a top fiver. I need to sit on it. I already see people calling it the worst. I'm not gonna go that far yet because I really have to think about it. But Travis Scott is not popular enough to warrant him having this moment. If it was Scott and Rock, that's fine. I get it, ties the story. Don't know where the fuck the Rock is. Like the fact that he couldn't even fly down for this. I know he even posted he's in Hawaii, but everyone thought, oh, he's trolling. He's actually here. But no, I guess he was just in Hawaii chilling. And it's just for everything of it, even if Travis Scott's going to be there, have him come through the crowd, interfere. The second his music hit, that thing was, it's like within seconds, I felt the stars in my head dropping, and it was a slow pace. It killed everything. Cena's there smiling. Cody's dead for like 10 minutes during Travis Scott's entrance, even though they were just going back and forth. And then like the whole, like, he's going to give him a receipt. He just hit him with a crossroads. Travis Scott wouldn't get out of the ring. Cody's like trying to push him, but I just don't think, like, for me, Cena's big win and to break 17, I already thought Travis Scott being there for the heel turn was kind of meh, but I got it with the whole setup. With this, like I said this a few times, but this really, and my sister said the same because she watched a few stuff last night and this night. We used to go WrestleMania all the time, but she fell off. But I said this felt like a Vince ending, and she's like, legitimately, I said that to my friend. That's what it felt like. It felt like Dave was here for this. Remember when Kevin Federline screwed John Cena? Or no, when he beat John Cena? Kevin Federline beat John Cena. 1, 2, 3. Just with one
This
Samoan
is like
spike.
the what is it, the Cyber Sunday you went to, or the Taboo Tuesday?
It is. I'm gonna get
With
smacked
Kevin
by some guy.
Federline.
Yeah, I'm gonna get smacked by some guy in my own house. But I just think this didn't need any of the Travis Scott stuff. I get WWE's all about the brand and stuff. Like even during Cody's entrance, they went to the drumsticks, and it's like, man, this was too much. And this, I think, it's tough because all my casual friends that watch it were really let down, especially my sister. I feel like the past couple of years have been trying to get her to watch WrestleMania again, and she's always busy. Like, I don't know. So it's on Netflix. She clicks on it, and this is like the last one. It's like, oh, like that's what they're doing now. Like this whole ending. Like, I just thought they really dropped the ball. I know some people felt that about Cena's heel turn in general. I wasn't like that, but with this ending, I think this was a really, really stinky ending, and I don't know. I think this was a layup for them of just even then just do the whole Cena cheats. Do Travis Scott later. It just I don't know. But yeah, Dave, what about you? Because you've seen a lot of WrestleManias. We've been there for the we talked about WrestleMania 9, WrestleMania 17, which I think isn't as bad. It's more bad in retrospect when you think about what happened. But at the time, it's like, oh, this was a huge deal. Awesome turning heel. But
17, the match, the heel turn in that moment, it was great.
Yes.
Again, long term, not so much. I would probably put this in the top 3 or 4 of my worst WrestleManias. There are some that I'm just like not going to include. Like I'm not going to include Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam Bigelow. Like that was that was of that time. But I will say, like, this is up there with the convoluted ending of WrestleMania 27 when The Rock restarts the match. This is there with Rock Cena 2, where you knew where this was going and it just felt dragged out. Or the super overbooked WrestleMania 16, also known as WrestleMania 2000, where they had the McMahon
Oh
in
yeah.
every corner match, and it was weird. And yeah, so this is up there with some of the worst ones. It's not quite WrestleMania 9 just yet, but it is in the top 3 or 4 of worst WrestleMania endings. It felt deflated. You could have, even if you wanted the Travis Scott appearance, you could have had him come out. He did not have to have a Romanesque 20-minute walk. Why we're constantly cutting between him sauntering to the ring and John Cena just laughing like the
Yeah.
maniacal heel, like, and the entire time Cody's over here laying down like Booker T, waiting for Triple H to pin him.
Well,
Just
and
has to sit there.
I was going crazy because I was convincing myself, walk with me for a second. I thought they were going to do a double turn and Cody was going to align himself with Travis Scott because I thought they were maybe like, hey, we kind of get a sense of the crowd. Because to me, it was more, I think it started because I couldn't hear the entrances. I had family talking and then they left, but like couldn't hear the entrances. And then the rest of the match, it felt like it kind of started 50-50, but it was definitely a Rock Hogan 18 situation where they did turn on Cody. I love Cody. He's my guy, but like, he got rocked WrestleMania 18 where they did not want him to win. And if it was,
Yeah.
it felt like the Cody fans like got quieter and quieter as it went on. They just kind of like shrugged, like gave up. And cause that, I felt like the Let's Go Cena Sucks was louder when it started. And then near the end, it was not there. So I thought, oh, maybe they saw the vision. They were so smart. They're going to be like, oh, they're actually Cody's second. He changed his mind and he's going to go to the Rock and go, you know what? Actually, I'm going to sell my soul. And they're going to do the turn heel. But now it's like, he didn't do the turn and he just got beat by Trescott and John Cena while the crowd's cheering. It's like all like, and they can't account for the crowd, right? But that's where it just makes it bad, where the crowd's booing Cody and then Travis Scott's like getting heat on him and the crowd's like loving it. It's like, this doesn't, and now I know we'll talk long term in the future, but now I actually don't know if Cody's gonna be the guy who beats Cena. I thought he would, but they might go, maybe we'll give someone else that spot. I'm not saying I know the internet's gonna be like, oh, turn Cody heel, but I don't know that yet, but we'll see. So I suppose where are you on this the match overall, but then also the ending?
I'd say I like pretty much the same. I was liking the match up to like the whole interference and stuff. Like I thought it was really cool. Like you said, just Cena doing the moves a different way and kind of like
Hmm.
even though he was just doing that like slow style, it didn't feel like I don't know, like dragged out to me at least. Like it felt like at least deliberate, but not like he's just slower, like he can't hang anymore.
No, yeah, it
But
definitely felt like a pacing, like he felt like a bully in there to me, which I liked.
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, I guess the interference stuff, it was like, yeah, it just took like way too long and then it was just like weird and it was kind of like sort of the same thing with like the Jay Gunther thing. Like it was like everyone I think thought that was gonna be like oh he's just gonna kick out and then there's still like 10 minutes left, but it just
Yeah.
ended there.
Yeah. Well, it ended like 7:38 like my time, like ended 22 minutes like earlier than the other one, like last night. I
Yeah.
was surprised. That's why I thought, oh, is there gonna be an angle? Is there gonna be something? And no, there wasn't. And that's like, I know some people might not actually, I think a lot of people care. Like the fact that it's like you got John Cena holding up his title, like Travis Scott's right beside him holding up his fake title, and it's just like it feels like the Rock Brahma Bull thing. But at least with the Rock, like if the Rock was here, this to me would have gone down a lot easier for me because there could be an angle there. He was there at last year's WrestleMania, but it feels so odd. And I'm not like a Dave Meltzer defender or anything, but man, everyone has to apologize to that guy. Because remember when he said Rock's not gonna be there? Because I'm seeing all the tweets now, and Rock was like, "No bullshit, don't believe anything." And then everyone for like 2 weeks grilled Meltzer of like, you don't know. And don't get me wrong, Meltzer's wrong about a lot of shit. And I'm not saying his takes, but just like remember, like people did like a public like humiliation of Meltzer, like he's fucking washed, everything like that. And it's like, Rock really just wasn't planned. I wish we could go back, and I really wish the Chamber heel turn had nothing to do with Scott or the Rock. It was just Cena. Just Cody comes, congratulations after the match. They shake hands. Cena low blows him, beats him up, and you get the same effect as they never even talked about Rock. Or at least Cena didn't. They didn't talk about Scott until the night. It feels very odd. It doesn't make much sense. I don't understand it, and I'm excited to watch the presser where Triple H tells me this is the best WrestleMania of all time, and Travis Scott, what a professional, no one's like him. It's just like, yeah, but it's not like I felt like with this and the Logan Paul thing, instead of them getting the event over, they're getting themselves over, which is not what you want for non full time employees, in my opinion. And it was weird because I agree with that Spencer. I really like the beginning. I love that it started with Cody out wrestling him, and then Cena was trying to like do old school Cena where he'd wrestle back, and then he just gave up. And there's this great sequence where I think he clotheslined Cody, and then he just kept kicking him. He kicked him for like 20 seconds, and that's where it was good. Where it was like, oh, he's just frustrated and he's giving up wrestling, and it was almost like you can't wrestle. So he's like, yeah, I can't wrestle. I'm giving up. I'm just gonna beat up Cody, and I think that all worked. And like that's what said. I think it was all deliberate. It was the pace. It reminded me, I said in the Discord, very much of WrestleMania 22 with Triple H and John Cena, where that was a slower match. And Triple H was doing the same thing, and the same thing happened where they turned on Cena and went for Triple H. So it's kind of funny where, almost 20 years later, but yeah.
I definitely agree with you on the point that Travis Scott, everything with that just felt like that was Travis Scott getting Travis Scott over. That was him promoting himself, his partnership with WWE for clothing and stuff like that. This had nothing to do with the match. It was a waste of probably 8 minutes of the match that just drug on.
And you would think like this is the same company when they did the Dom Liv Rhea turn. They waited for Rhea to get her hands on Dom, right? And in the last Liv match, they had her do the Riptide after everything like that. So it's like, what's the payoff with Scott? Because Cody Rhodes hit the crossroads on him. I do not, which I worry because I remember those reports of Travis Scott's train and wrestle. If the payoff is
Cody,
that's what but this is the point with this ending. I would not even be surprised by that. And I do think they need to watch it because they get into it. Because I think right now they think they're untouchable to an extent they are. But we've seen WWE fall many times. Again, I'm not saying they're going out of business or anything like that, but I'm saying we've seen many times where they make a few bad decisions in a row and people start to check out. And I think at WrestleMania, you don't want to do that. And they did that here because whatever people think about the last few WrestleManias, like, well, I guess 39 wasn't too far away, I guess, because after Roman beat Cody, I remember there was a lot of unease with the fan base there because everyone's like, oh, Cody fumbled, he shooting back to AEW, maybe. So we'll see. But at least for that, to me was, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see in a year or in November because I thought that was the wrong decision then. At least though, to me, that was a good match. I guess it is comparable. I'm just thinking at least like it was solo, but that had the same thing where I thought they should have gave Cody the belt and then they did the same solo finish and thought it was really bad, but they built that back up. I just don't know if they can build themselves back up here. I'm curious.
This one's going to be hard to rebound.
I'm seeing people just in general, like I'm seeing people post like the other worst main events. Like, would you say this one, even with the ending included?
Yeah, give me them,
I'll read you off some of these
Perfect,
ones
yeah.
and say if it's better or not. Okay, Triple H versus Randy Orton.
So
the one where he couldn't get just like if he cheated, he got not cheated like. Yeah,
I think there's two categories of a lackluster ending and a bad ending. I'd put them in the lackluster ending because
that one was just boring.
Yeah, it was just boring. But like character wise, it made sense of like Randy like assaulted his wife. Triple H should win that match, right? Like it made sense. So I'd put that in. I put this over that one like for being bad. It's okay. So let's go next.
Okay, Roman versus Brock Mania 34.
Oh, that was pretty bad. They're pretty equal because I remember that was like the time Roman's supposed to finally beat Brock, and then Brock just beat him again. I give
that was the 6 F5 one, right?
Yeah, and Cody kicked out of 4 AAs. I give the Travis Scott one the edge, but that one is pretty close because that was a bad match, lackluster ending. Everyone was over Brock at that point because he was mega part-timer. So that's like a 0.5 below, but that one's close. Okay.
This one you already mentioned before, but Cena versus Miz.
Yeah, it's tough because I think it's saved because the next night on Raw they announced Rock and Cena, so it saved a little bit. I agree, David. It was not great, and if you would have put Punk's spot like in Miz's spot, could have been better. But yeah, this was worse because at least to me, I don't know. At least
they still had the virtual GM at that point. They
Oh, God.
restarted the
that's how it
match.
happens. It's Rock reads the laptop and he says like
breaks,
he's like
yeah.
I'm gonna restart the match.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
then
no,
he
gives
just gives Cena an AA and then Miz just pins him.
yeah, no. I think that one's not as bad as this one though. I think again because the Travis
Miz
Scott
got
stuff, right?
concussed.
Yeah, Miz had no idea what happened in that match. So okay, what's
Okay,
next?
another one. Roman versus Undertaker.
Oh, that one's tough. I was there live for that.
It was deflating, but it wasn't a bad match. It was just a deflating ending. Like you didn't think that Undertaker was catching a second loss.
And you could also see Undertaker slowing down. The thing that made that better, which again this is a retrospect thing, was at the time, even there being live, we all thought, oh, this is last match. This is the match where he like left his hat and everything in the ring. He for the first time win the crowd and kiss Michelle McCool. So we're like, oh, the match wasn't great, but we're seeing a legend go up. So at least it was kind of heartwarming. So yeah, I'll put the Scott one still above that.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then that's also redeemed by the next night. Roman coming out, not saying a word, just doing the
yard
"It's
now."
my yard now,"
Oh,
dropping the
that-
mic and
how
walk
that was
off.
not the start of the heel turn, I don't know, but so.
Okay, let's see another one
Ooh,
here.
Bobby Roode
Roman.
hang
Oh,
on, hang on.
Roman. Oh yeah.
Bobby Roode produced Gunther and Jay and John Cena and Cody. Not a good time for the
Need
TNA
to work on
wins
your
against-
endings, my guy.
Yeah.
I have another one here. Roman versus Triple H.
No, that was just it sucks because those ones are in that era of just trying to make Roman the guy, but it's just like a fine 3-star match that Roman went over. It wasn't good. It was that's in the lackluster category for me. It wasn't awful, but that was in the lackluster. And these are all deserving. Don't get me wrong. In a top 10 list, this is definitely it. But
Yeah, the
Yeah.
other ones are on here. I don't know, like I don't hear people talk about them as much as like worst main events, so I can just read them off, I guess, because I don't really know that much about them.
sure, yeah.
Like Triple H versus Jericho.
No, that I would never put that anywhere near this.
It wasn't bad. It just should not. I think that was one of the ones that went on last when it shouldn't have gone on last.
It's Rock and Hogan. That was Rock
Yeah.
and Hogan. Yeah. So yeah, lackluster. Yeah. What else?
And then another one I have is on the list. The other ones are Cena versus Rock 2 and Brock versus Roman, the unification match.
Yeah, they had some. The fact that we got three Brock and Roman matches, just that's a Vince McMahon crime right there. Take that back, because I know he's actually done some crimes.
Yeah.
That's a booking crime right there. That was like the fact that he was so into that trilogy. But no, like it. I'll wait and sit on it, but this might be. I think it's just because it was the 17 and it was the Cena heel turn. It was two massive things and have such that deflating ending. I don't know. It's like, and don't get me wrong. I think the Cena heel turn still is gonna be fun. I think we're gonna get to him and Randy. We're gonna get to him and Punk. There's good stuff. It just sucks for such a big moment. And even if this happened at like Backlash or whatever, that'd be fine. But to be Mania Night 2, that's where it stings. It's like the ending of the biggest show of the year. And we talked about it. You want to end strong. And it's the exact opposite. I have faith that tomorrow they'll kill it with a good Raw after, but you don't want to do that. You want to just have like, hey, WrestleMania was great,
You
and
need
we're
Hank
going
and
to Raw.
Tank on Raw to save this company.
They're going to be part of Cena's new organization. Like everyone thought Rollins was going to be. All these memes of like, I never understood. I kept seeing people Photoshop Rock, Cena, Heyman, and Rollins. I was like, they're completely on different
I saw
tracks.
those.
Yeah.
Rock, Cena, Heyman, Becky, and Travis
Becky.
Scott. Yeah.
Like, and I wouldn't mind that. I don't get me wrong. If they turn Becky heel and Seth heel, that'd be great. But like, they don't need Rock and please, like, yeah, keep them away. Like, let Paul and Seth be the Raw bad guys. These be the SmackDown bad guys. But big goose egg here. And like I said, I'm interested to see what people think. Interested to hear Cody's thoughts. He's already like in the long term, he's fine. But and also like, so what do you guys think? This is the other thing. I'll start with you, David. What do you think happens going forward with Cody as far as this response? Do you think this is the one-off where, hey, people just want to see Cena win the title? Because like Rock got that, right? But then Rock wasn't hated after. Rock got hated because he was a part-timer. He didn't like after that, Rock was getting cheered. And then when he left, when it was Brock and him at SummerSlam and the word was he was leaving again, that's when people really turned. When he was like, oh, I'm not, it's just my home. I'm not leaving and stuff. And then he left. He was still loved. Do you think this is a one-off, or do you think this is the tide of the turn where other people are like, yeah, like, I don't know if I like Cody Rhodes anymore? Because that happened to Cena, right? There was the tide of the turn and whatnot.
I don't think this will be like when The Rock won the championship. Rock winning had a couple of bad things going against it. You took it off of CM Punk, which for a lot of people, again, you're a part timer. You're coming in, you're taking the belt off CM Punk. You're costing CM Punk his chance at main eventing. Everyone knew that that was a big deal even before he left. People knew that that was a big deal. And then for him to be, yeah, I'm part-time, you just knew he was a transitional champion. He brings in the new belt, again, something that we wanted from Punk. It was just like all this stuff that was opposite of what we wanted. It's just you could tell corporate wanted this guy to do it
Yeah.
instead of Punk. I think with this one, it's still going to be 50-50 with this fan base. You're still going to have some people who are cheering. I think you're going to have some people, especially like around not just my age range, but just people who have been in it so long, who are now at a point where they chant Cena sucks because it's fun, but they still respect Cena for everything he's done. Seeing Cena break the record and get the 17, like in my generation, I'm just like, okay, guy put in his time. He's earned it. Kudos
It's a
on
big
him.
event. They want to be there for history, right? And that's what
Yes.
it's going to be. Is like, was this people cheering for history or was it for Cody? And I think the good thing is I think if Cody wins it back, it won't be for a while. And I think it will be the point where people will be like, okay, Cena got his run and now we're happy to see him go. I guess it
I
would be
feel
different.
like when Cody, I feel like Cody's gonna have like a feud before going back to
Malachi
Cena.
Black.
Like yeah, like I think he's
He
gonna
has
probably
to,
take
yeah.
off for like a month, and when he comes back, I feel like there'll be some villain that'll like take him out, and he has to feud with that person. Maybe that's probably like his SummerSlam match will be against someone, not
Yeah.
Cena.
Like kind of what
Yeah.
they did with him and Brock. Remember after Roman beat him at 39, they had him from Brock from like Backlash to SummerSlam. That was his story. And maybe they have multiple opponents, but I agree
That's your Bronson Reed return. You know, he
Bronson
destroys
Reed, Malachi
Cody, yeah.
Black, Rusev, Miz, throw him in there. Like,
Yeah.
that you have to keep them separated. So people, almost in the sense that people might come around and be like, actually, I actually liked it better when Cody was champ, but I'd like him to win it back. So I do think you can't return to that, but it's going to be interesting because I think they're in a pickle if that'll be the telling when they do Cena and Cody 2, because I still think that's the route. I think Cena and Cody 2 is still their idea. Cody's going to get his win back. If Cody still gets booed there, that's when they're in a really pickle. And that's when it's like, okay, now there might have to be some conversation. Or maybe they just rock the John Cena reaction thing, right? They did that with Roman for years where maybe Cody for the next 3 years is just going to get the half and half. But this is the first time it's really happened. So I don't know. We'll see. It's very, very interesting to
Yeah,
see what happens.
He's going to have to earn back his title shot. This isn't going to be he's going to get a title shot
Royal
at
Rumble,
Backlash.
baby.
As much as I would love for it to be at Backlash, because that's right down the road in St. Louis and things like that. So, I would not mind hopping over for that. I don't think he's going to get that opportunity there. I do think that he is going to probably enter into a feud pretty quickly. He may take this next week off and maybe 2 weeks, but after that, he's going to enter into a feud with someone. I think actually Malachi is supposed to debut this Friday. So
We're
this
gonna make this meme come true. I don't.
yeah, he could get his head kicked off by Malachi to start off this Friday. He could come out to say the whole "What do you guys want to talk about?" and immediately get his head kicked off. I'm here for that. So
In my opinion, I don't know if it's the right opinion. It's just a guess. I would not actually have Cena or Cody do any promos and just have them gone. Because my worry
I
is
mean,
if
that's
he cuts
that's
a
what
promo,
the like. He's not advertised for like a full month. Like
He's
I don't. I
not,
think he's
yeah.
gonna disappear.
because
And
my
just
worry
did you see
what?
just like the very start of like the post show with him walking away?
It was with his family, right, and everything.
It was him
Yeah.
and Brandy, and they just walked to the
Yeah.
bus and just
They're-
like yeah.
doing the same thing Punk did. They're going to talk later. But no, because to me, the worry is what if you put him in front of a crowd where he cuts a heartfelt promo and they boo him, or it's like all about Cena, right? So that's why I think maybe they should just have him go away. And then when it's like you get that graphic, Cody Rhodes returns, people are excited to see him. And then they can play up the whole, like, where's John Cena been? He's a part timer. He's not around. I'm not going to leave you. Like, I actually think they should not have Cody do any promo whatsoever. I think it could be risky. Now I trust Cody because that we didn't talk about on Friday, and that's what's tough for Cody, right? Because on Friday he was getting booed and he turned them all around. You don't get that in a match, right? You don't get to talk.
Yeah.
So Cody, I trust him that he can cut that promo. We saw that in AEW. In AEW, they hated Cody. In WWE, they're just happy John Cena's back. In that last promo that Cody cut, they were booing him and they were tired of Cody Rhodes, and he got them to cheer at the end. I trust him. I just think it's kind of like there's some risk to it. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if Malachi Black and Cody have backlash. But yeah, I imagine we're going that way. But I'm sure it might come up again. But anything specifically with John Cena and Cody Rhodes here?
No, like I said, just
think so,
it fell flat. Everything from the Travis Scott intro to the end just fell flat. So there were so many different avenues. They could have still had the same result, but just not fallen as flat.
Yeah, just different booking. But we'll at least get some positivity here and go to the start of the show and go to the women's triple threat. I kind of said my many thoughts. I'll just say it again that, that triple threat absolutely delivered. Man, what a week of triple threats. But I do think this is the best one out of those four.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like people are complaining about too many multi-man matches, but all the multi-man matches ended up being the best matches like on all the shows.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, and that's the thing where you just kind of have to lock it when it happens. But yeah, fantastic from all of them. Again, I was super surprised because sometimes you go back and forth with the chance with Rhea and Io. I have to go back with Cena's, but I think Cena.
People are chanting for Io the entire time.
They were, but when Rhea's music hit, that was the loudest.
She got the loudest pop.
Yeah.
She definitely got the loudest pop.
That was crazy, and that to me that shows because I bet in Vegas there's tons of mainstream people there, and that's where it's like, oh man, Rhea
something
Ripley,
I was thinking because I know in Vegas a lot of the time like there's a lot of free tickets for like the high rollers and stuff. Like they were even talking about that in the WrestleMania 9 documentary, and I know it's still true now. So I was wondering, like, I wonder how much of this the people on the stage or like stuff like that would like affect the crowd. But I think, like you said, I think for a lot of the, like you said, the
people that watch twice a year, they and that like Rhea's all like last week when she posted the underwear photo, she's always trying. Like there's people I always use her example, Hansi, who's a patron, she's on After 9, never watches anything wrestling, but she knew who Rhea Ripley is without me having to tell her. Like that's the thing where I was taken aback by the pop. I couldn't believe it, but no, they all delivered. Fantastic spots. They pretty much just locked in at speed 100, and other than a few times they got knocked down, they just kept going and going. And I'm happy I called that Io was gonna pin Bianca because I said just like if she's gonna lose, just have her eat the pin. Don't do this like, well, she's still never been pinned. It's like, no, you lost a battle royal, you lost a triple threat, you got no streak. Like that's a fake streak, and she got pinned. And like I said, my reasoning was now Io in the last month has pinned Rhea and she's pinned Bianca. So they both should have zero claim, and then they should go off and like what you've talked about, Espo, fight with each other. Now Io can fight whoever. But definitely for me, that's a 5-star.
I'll just say, talking about pops and something that'll come up later is the two loudest pops I've ever heard in person at a wrestling show. One is Rhea Ripley, and the second one is Joe Hendry. So we'll get to that later. But yeah, I love this match. This was like a 5-star match for me. It was like exactly what I wanted, just absolutely delivered. They all had great chemistry. Like they've had good chemistry, like one-on-one, and especially Io and Bianca have had really good chemistry. But all three of them together just made it even better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
how about you, David?
Definitely agree. This is probably start to finish match of the night for me, match of the weekend for me. I will go as far as to say that they put on a spectacular, and that ending was just great. Everything with Io, I'm glad she got to, because everyone knows what Bianca can do. Everyone knows who Rhea is and what she can do. So for Io to get this kind of showing on this grand stage, especially after taking the loss last year. Last year was, giving giving Bayley her moment, but this time was definitely her standout moment, and she shined. She held her own, and she shined, and I thought it was just an incredible match.
Yeah. No, I almost thought I was going to get my dangerous spot of the KOD and Io moonsaulting on her. They did the ending that we talked about, but for a second they were really close, like, oh my God, they're going to do it. But
they didn't do the poison run either. I was expecting they teased it though, where like she went for it and Rhea caught it, but...
Oh, and so many crazy spots. Like just
there was that one where Io, like, she did a hurricane run on the outside and Bianca caught her, and her
Yes.
head was like 1 centimeter away from like just landing on the floor, and Bianca just caught her like midair, and that's when they threw her on the barricade. But yeah, lots of great spots. Yeah, when they started setting up for that, I thought it was gonna be where she's in the middle of a KOD and then she does the
I
moonsault on
thought, I'm
top
like,
of
oh,
them.
my
Yeah.
dream spot's coming, but it didn't happen. But no, that spot you mentioned was good. That spot, they've done it before, but this one looked the best where Io went for the moonsault and Rhea got her with the 2 feet. And man, that looked dangerous. And one thing I appreciated, there's multiple times where they just took one opponent and threw them into the other. It just felt like they were very much like, it felt like a sudden death type of, like it is sudden death, but I mean, it felt like it was like an Iron Man match where, oh, you only got 10 minutes left, you got to get the win. But yeah, they were just throwing each other at each other, using like one another as weapons, and I really liked that touch. And man, yeah, it was something special. And yeah, and Bianca for me, I think had the maybe the best ring gear. Like Rhea looked cool with the Batman Who Laughs, but that fucking jacket robe that was all roses, and then in the match, like all the roses were coming off, but that was fantastic gear and some cool stuff there. But yeah, that was that was right away way better than what we got the night before. So yeah, you got Io as champion.
Yeah, both women's titles retained,
Yeah, both retained. I'm wondering who Io's
and
gonna.
both yeah, both retained. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering who Io's gonna get next. Because like I said, I think they should keep Rhea and Bianca away from her. I'm not sure if there's gonna be someone they call up because like you can't. Bailey's gonna be busy with other. We'll get there. Becky and Lyra. I don't think they're gonna
I
do
feel like
Io
you
and
may
Liv
get.
again.
I was gonna
You think
say
so?
maybe you do. Yeah, I feel
I
like they
guess she has
could.
no title now. Yeah, you're right.
Because
They
Io
could.
has, because Liv, she beat her at Saturday Night's main event and she won by DQ.
DQ. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's almost
I
like
feel like that could
the.
just be a backlash match or something like
Absolutely.
that.
It's like the Gunther J thing where they can play like Io's actually never beat Liv Morgan in a one-on-one situation. So yeah, Liv makes sense. Liv's over,
Yeah. And
so yeah.
after that, once you have a draft, like I feel like maybe some of these
Tons of
NXT
new
women,
people, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I would love. They only touched upon a little bit in the NXT days, but I'm not saying for her to win. But like, I would actually like Io and Charlotte to link up at some point too, because Io's the one that beat Charlotte for the NXT Championship. So I'd like them to play that back. It was in a
Or
triple
you,
threat with Rhea. So
or you have Asuka come back as well, and like
yeah.
as
Oh
a
yeah.
heel.
I'm waiting for the damage control turn. And like I said, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I do want them to revisit Io and Bailey as well. I thought in this term they should get Bailey to be a heel, but I don't know if that's happening anytime soon. So we'll see. But yeah, lots of people for Io. As long they just got to get to May, and then the draft's there, and then a bunch of switch ups. So
Yeah.
anything else on the
Yeah.
women's triple threat?
I would say, yeah, I saw that someone posted that Io's whole family was there,
Nice.
but that her sister was in full Rhea Ripley merch.
That's great. That's funny. And then after that, we got the Sin City Street fight with Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. I think kind of like we all said, it was going to over deliver, and to me, this did. I talked about I wanted the vibes of like Taker, Triple H 17. I'm not saying it got to those heights, but it was that. Drew, fantastic. Another tweet during WrestleMania. My goodness, I
Like
love Drew.
100K likes in
Yeah.
like 2 minutes.
I love Drew. I hope that he has a good year and next year has a more high profile stuff. But this was a very fun match. And I think this is something they should have swapped and probably had a night one just to help with some pacing. But I think Drew and Damian really, really delivered here. At one point, I was worried because Drew had like 80% of the offense. And I was like, oh man, Damian's going to win this. Because like, Drew, like for a while, Damian just he kept
The
being, and
Priest
he was like,
push just
yeah,
beating
he looked
Drew.
concussed for the first time. And he's always like walking around and move. Like I was like, oh my god! But Drew with the good win in a really fun match. So
Yeah, I did worry that when Drew got the sponsored entrance and then with the amount of offense that he came in, I was like, oh, he's doing the job. They're giving him all the corporate perks, but he's doing the job. So I was happy to see Drew win. I think out of the two of them, Drew needed it more. Just because I think Damian can bounce back from this, still be who he is. If you have Drew take too many losses, especially on WrestleMania, especially on big stages like that, then it hurts who he is as this warrior, as this psychopath, than it does for Damian. So I'm glad that he got the win. And again, the tweet in the middle of the match, it's hilarious. And the fact that if you look at it right now, his pinned tweet, his tweet from last year is his pinned tweet. So right underneath it, it was still having fun at work. So it's just I'm so happy for him. Great match.
Yeah, I also really enjoyed this match. It was what it needed to be and what I wanted it to be. And yeah, they just Drew and Damian, like they've had other good matches before, but obviously this with the stipulation, it was gonna hit hard. Like they used I felt like it was a street fight, but they didn't really use weapons, which I liked. Like it was a lot of the steel steps and a lot of the chairs, but not really as much just like hitting just like there's just like 5 minutes of them just hitting each other with chairs. I feel like it was a lot like placing the chairs in the corners or doing stuff with the steps and the tables, which I thought was cool. It focused more on like the in-ring stuff. And yeah, it was fun. I like the entrances. Drew's Doom entrance was pretty cool, and the Damian Priest Slayer one was cool as well. And yeah, I thought it was a good time. That old school spot, I wasn't expecting it. Like for some reason, I forgot the tables were out there, so when he just pushed them off, I was like, "This is crazy." But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And Travis, I think you're muted.
I was. Thank you. Yeah, no, there's some good spots in there, and yeah, I'm excited to see what happens to Drew. I think they should. I don't know. I'm of two minds. I've always wanted the power trip, and Seth's a heel, so I would love them to link up.
I'll
And
say if you had to put the title on Seth or Drew, who would you put it on? If you had to if they tell you Backlash, this
yeah,
guy's
yeah.
beating Jay for the title, who would you pick?
Well, one addendum I'd say tomorrow someone's beat Jay for the
Yeah.
title, but yes, Backlash. I
Bye Backlash, bye
Yeah,
Backlash.
I would just say Seth, just because it's kind of like the Cena thing. You do this big heel turn, you gotta go forward. You gotta capitalize on the moment, and I think there's actually potential for Drew to turn babyface soon. Like I don't know
Yeah.
how they get there, but like Drew's just so likable, and I think that's the thing where he beat Damian Priest. He could never link up with Roman and stuff. I don't know, because he was always telling Seth like, "Oh, maybe you should do some bad shit," and Seth was always like, "I don't know," but yeah, I would still pick. I'd pick Seth, and then because I also think the other reason I want Drew to be babyface, even if it's not Seth, I really want Drew and Cena. I think there's some good money there. So even if you get Drew to be a tweener, that's where I'd get Seth on the Jey Uso route, and then Drew on the Cena route. So at some point,
Yeah, because Drew is
Yeah.
very much getting cheered in this match
Yes.
here. Yeah.
Stuff like those tweets don't help. Like it's a good thing, but like people just my time was blown up. Like, oh, this is so good. And like,
If you have a good song chant, you're gonna get over like the Drew McIntyre.
yeah,
People are singing it.
yeah,
Yeah. I think Seth being the next person to win that title makes more sense, especially if he's teamed with Paul Heyman. You can have, again, the wise man leading someone else to a championship. You can roll with that. And then I think this heel version of Seth would just be more fun and more believable as a long-term champ.
yeah. Oh, and then next we got the Fatal Four Way with Braun Breaker, Dominic Mysterio, Penta, and Finn Balor.
The Spot Fest.
Spot Fest, lots of masks as well and everything, and
No
then
dog mask. We wanted it,
no dog mask. No, maybe next time. Lots of great spots here. They gave Braun Breaker kind of multiple. I call him the moment maker, Braun Breaker. That double German. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Penta.
It was
Dominic,
he
right?
was holding Penta, and
Yeah.
then Penta had Finn in like a dragon
Yeah.
suplex.
Yeah.
And it was because the thing that was impressed me is he just deadlifted him. There was no momentum. It was just Braun literally having to like.
Yeah,
you-
it was
and
like you could tell it was slower because he just like legit lifted both of them.
It was to the point where I know he should be fine, but it's like, man, I hope his back is okay. Because like the way that he lifted weight, it's like you're just using nothing but your back. But that was impressive. And then I love this continual thing of Carlito just getting killed by Braun Breaker. It's great, especially when Carlito realized and he like looked over and Braun's just coming. We got the table broken very early in the night, but I think it looked good. They gave him good moments. And my last point for Braun too is when he got in the ring to go spear Penta, he looked like really desperate to win the match. Like he looked like he thought it was going to be easy, and it wasn't. Like, oh look, there's like some character development of this badass that's like, oh, just please like get this over with. Like I want to win. And
Like,
he
one
did.
of you stay down. Somebody
Yeah.
stay down.
But great finish. Like I said to you guys in the Discord, my only issue was that it was literally the same finish as EO. If someone's in a pin and hits a high fly move and then they get the pin. So wish they would, kind of space those out different nights or whatnot. But, result is what we all thought. Dom getting that belt. The only thing that surprised me was, Cody had a rough night with the audience. If their plan was to do, hey,
You
Finn
see
is the baby
the
face.
tweet of him at the post show. He was out there with the belt, getting like mega baby face cheers.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
crazy in
And he
wrestling.
ran back to the. I think he ran up to the stage like he was trying to do like he stole the win, and I think someone in production told him like get back
To
to
go
the ring and
pose.
hold up
Yeah.
the because it was only after that that they put the like new Intercontinental Champ. So I think like he was planning to do like heel steal the win, like heist of the century type win, and they were like no, get back to the ring.
And that's the thing
And
in
it was
wrestling,
a
right?
perfect
Where-
one because he runs by Finn,
And
and
Finn's like,
Finn's like
yeah,
like
he's in
what?
shock,
And yeah,
yeah.
he's just getting cheered by everybody.
And that's the thing. That's what happened to The Rock in the 90s. If you're good enough a heel, eventually the crowd just goes with you. And I was not saying that was impossible. I just did not think they'd be in
I mean,
full
people. I
force
think
tonight.
for at
Still,
least
you know?
like a year or more, like people like the booing for Dominic is the cheers.
Yes,
Like you're
absolutely,
cheering
yeah.
in just like a different language, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
once they want to turn that into actual cheers, it's like you can already see it was there the whole time.
Yeah, and that's gonna be a curious story to tell us how he turned on Rhea, who's still popular. You have Liv, who's like a heel. You got like all of Judgment Day. So yeah,
So you
it's
get
gonna be.
the Rhea and Dom reunion
Oh god,
storyline.
yeah, maybe, but yeah, I was surprised. Not that he was getting cheered, but just how much he was getting cheered. But no, this was just a very fun match overall. Perfect what it needed to be, you know.
Yeah. Spot fest fun. Other than Finn's weird Slender Man style entrance, everything else about it was
Someone's got to
just
talk to
He
him about his
likes
fucking
these
gear, man.
masks,
I
yeah.
don't get- someone's got to set him aside and be like, "This isn't cool." Every time you put one of these masks on, your aura goes down, and you're already in like bottom 10 right now. Like, and I don't know what they do because I thought, oh, the answer is if they turn on him and you get demon. Anytime he puts on the makeup, the aura, it's like it's like a GM
now
power
you gotta,
card.
Now you gotta have Dom going over demon heel demon Finn.
God. Oh god. And hey, it could happen, but yeah, someone needs to talk to Finn about this gear and entrance. It's just it's
Yeah.
not working.
Because
Still
I
good
feel like
worker,
also
but-
it's like what we were thinking is like, oh, Dom's gonna pin Finn, and that's how we get like the Finn face turn. But now it's like Dom pin Finn, and now it's the Dom face turn.
yeah, it's like a double turn, but not one they plan. So kind of crazy.
But yeah, I thought this match was a lot of fun. Like all four guys who were in it just brought it. And Penta, WrestleMania debut. I was wondering how they were gonna do his spin wheel pyro. So like they just put three of them on top of the big building at the top. There were three spinning there. And yeah, it was a good showing. Like I said, the Carlito spot. I hope that continues. And yeah, it was a really fun match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you share in the Discord asked of somebody posting like the vision for SummerSlam of like heel Seth with the title and Braun Breaker. Like that is to me absolutely the agenda. That is like Braun Breaker is ready to go. Sure, you can make him beat up Carlito a couple more times, but I don't even think you have him with Dom. You have something happen where he goes on a different trajectory. You get him out of there. Even if he wins Money in the Bank, and I would love him to win Money in the Bank and be one of the guys of like, I'm not like stealing, like I'm giving you the
Like
date,
announces
yeah,
the cash
and I'm gonna
in.
fucking beat you for it. Like I would love that, and I would.
Oh,
Really,
you know what you're getting before then?
what?
You're getting Goldberg versus Braun at the
Sure,
Saudi show.
yeah, that's fine.
And that's
And let
how
him-
that's how you know that's how you build to maybe you have him like announce before then. Like say he wins Money in the Bank, he announces like I'm coming for you, Seth.
Yeah.
And then he just destroys Goldberg in this
perfect
retirement match.
works for me.
Yeah.
That's great.
But I feel like I'm walking in right now like Braun Goldberg is happening at this Saudi show.
I think you're probably.
I'm okay
right.
with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I'm
fine.
okay with that. Let
A
him
spear
destroy him.
off. Yeah, let's spear off, and then they shake hands.
It'll be 3 minutes. He'll raise his hand. He'll get his pyro. You
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Because like they listen, Bill Goldberg did have a different aura. I know some people are gonna hate me saying this, but like Braun Breaker is the evolution and way better at everything that Goldberg could be. You know, like he's what you would wish Goldberg could be. Don't get me wrong. Again, Goldberg he fucking swallows the pyro and spits it out. He has a look. He concusses himself every night in the door. Don't get me wrong, but like Braun Breaker can carry you. And I don't even know if Braun would win that match with Seth, but like I do think that is. And I think that'll be a good pairing. Like I that's what I want SummerSlam to be. The Raw
And
program.
Braun versus Goldberg, that would be a moment maker match.
Yes,
like him
absolutely.
spearing Goldberg, just giving him like he'll give like Goldberg will take a CTE spear. Like I'm sure it won't affect him any more
100%,
than it already has. So
And you know what? Make Carlito the special guest referee and get speared by them both accidentally in the match. That's my other pitch. Is he just keeps accidentally eating spears throughout the whole thing. But
Yeah.
yeah.
After this, so then this is when we got the Joe Henry Randy Orton thing, right? Am I correct?
think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was only 6 match cards, so we got this. I'm of a couple minds, but at the end of the day, I think they did the right thing. You play to the crowd, you get the moment. I think this went way better than it just being solo. And if you're not, we talked about this, like if it can't be Rusev and Black because you don't want them to lose, what are you gonna do? Go for a fun pop with Joe Henry. I do think I got a good giggle because I feel like, David, you jinxed it when you're like, oh, Tony Khan, this is how you use the cross promotion. And when, Randy beat him, I can't know what the match time was. I'll get that. But match time very quickly. And then they did the whole Stone Cold, like, oh, let's shake hands. And then they made him just stun Hendry. Don't get me wrong. That's a moment. Great for Hendry. I have nothing against Hendry. I've only seen him wrestle twice. And I think he is what he is. He's a character wrestler, but like good for him. Nothing against him. Like get that spot. You got to wrestle Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Like your song is good at this point. That's awesome. I just wish I wish there was somebody they could have found to give Randy a little bit more of a match. It was a fun moment. I don't know. That's where I wish like the Battle Royal was still in WrestleMania, and that's where it's like, oh, Joe Henry could be like a surprise entrance. This was all right, but just especially when they do this whole video of like, it's Randy's. It was 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Holy fuck! It was like when they did this whole thing about Randy's 20th WrestleMania. This is just gonna be it's gonna be forgotten once Joe Henry isn't like as popular. I feel so. I don't know. Maybe we'll see in a couple of years, but they did the right thing. They did a moment, but in the long run, it was a little lackluster for me.
Yeah. So the reason I said the whole Tony Khan, this is how you do the cross promotion, is because with AEW, it was a lot of they sent their people to TNA to win. Only people that they really got back were Gallows and Anderson, who were in a stable with their people anyway. So there was no benefit whatsoever for TNA in this whole association. I mean,
they got their logo on the screen. That's the benefit. That
Kenny Omega
is,
wins their belt, and then Kenny Omega loses it to a different AEW guy.
Hey, it's Christian. He used to be TNA, but yeah, no, I agree.
Like,
it was stupid. It was dumb. Yeah.
Yeah. At least with WWE, they are promoting them as their champion. When they had Jordan Grace come in, they promoted her as a champion. When they had Mickie James a couple of years ago, they straight up said, knockout women's champion. Like they're acknowledging that these people are champions in their own right. Everything with the NXT, it is very one-sided in the win column. But they at least give reverence to these people, or you have the back and forth with the Rascals.
Actually, TNA has won most of them. I saw someone who was kept count. I think percentage-wise, TNA has won more because a lot of them just happen on Impact. Like some random NXT guy or girl would just lose to someone. So I think that's kind of like, I think in the big matches you would think like, oh, like WWE is beating them, but if you look overall, it's like, I think TNA is getting some value.
The Rascals skew that number because that was a mix of both TNA and NXT. So
I saw someone having a count that was like
in the both.
That was like like TNA, NXT, and teams with both. Yeah.
So, but that's what I mean by that. That's a better showing. Do I wish Joe Hendry got a couple more minutes? Absolutely. But the man got his shit in. Like he got in his pop of the night. He got in his little turn pose. He got in his moves, his kip up, everything else. So he was able to, get the crowd behind him. WWE is already selling Joe Hendry merch. Like that's.
He was at WWE World. Like you could meet him at WWE World, and you could do his entrance on the stage thing.
I do think one thing that this partnership is like AEW, where they're just farming talent though. Jordan Grace, like they are setting up for the second
they're pre-hiring people.
I'll take you.
It's the same thing they did with Okada and Jay White, and there's a couple other people where it's just the second that contract's over, let us know, big dog. And
it's like they're getting like a free trial pretty much. Like you get 100%. To use them whenever you want.
It's how you avoid tampering.
Contract is up, you actually have to pay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's how you avoid tampering. You can go and you can say, "Hey, I want to use this person. Before I put them in a storyline, how much time do they have left on their
Yeah.
contract? Because we don't want to put them in a story with one of our people and they leave in a month. Oh, they have a
And I
year left.
mean, and
Perfect.
even then, the thing is, like, Jordan Grace supposedly her contract wasn't gonna be up until like summer of this year, but then magically after her NXT appearances, her contract was shortened by
Well,
like 6 months.
she wanted out after they did the whole restructuring of who was in charge, and
Yeah,
she was
a
Yeah,
lot of people when Scott Demore just got like fired overnight, and
yeah.
plus when they brought Tessa back, that was like definitely like
yeah.
I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
But
so,
I think
so,
the
so she
Jordan
wanted
news
out
was even
regardless.
like before the Tetsu stuff. Yeah.
Oh no, for sure. But that was like to me the chair on top
No,
of
yeah.
like
Yeah,
you're not
this
you're not sticking around to
she
deal with
straight up
that.
said that once Scott Demore got fired, she walked in there and said, "Hey, I know I have this much time. I don't want to be here, and it's best for you to let me go."
Mhm.
So, um, that one was a writing on the wall. They shot themselves in the foot with that. But a lot of other people, it's just been, yeah, I'm gonna cherry pick this talent. I'm gonna use you for this, and let's
Yeah,
see
that's
how this
kind of
works
like the
out.
reason that I think like they wouldn't buy TNA as compared to them buying AAA. Because with TNA, it's like literally like they can ask for literally anyone from TNA, and TNA would probably give it to them. Like they wouldn't even have to like the only thing they would really buy TNA for would be like for the library or the footage. Like if for
Yeah.
the talent, they could literally ask for. I'm sure they could ask for anyone, and if they gave them Joe Hendry to lose to Randy Orton for 3 minutes, like I think if they asked for, yeah, can we have the Rascals or whoever,
There's no
some
reason to buy
whoever
them.
else, yeah.
There's zero reason, especially because like a lot of the talent is also still in AEW as well too. So it's not like, and they don't have the network anymore. They're not like
Yeah, there's nowhere to put it, and they don't like
yeah.
unless they do TNA Vault.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be it for its YouTube channel because I don't think and Netflix is gonna be like, hey, can we get
They need
the
they
library of
buy it for
TNA?
they buy it for the social media guy who can post
Yeah,
the
he's good. They
clips.
should buy him. Yeah, he's good. But DSL said Orton should face Goldberg. That's who I pitched on predictions. But you got to remember, Goldberg probably needs some prep time, right? So 2 weeks, no, it's not gonna happen.
He
But I
says
thought that would
he's
have been.
been in the gym. He's training.
Has he been okay? Then he should have been ready.
Yeah.
Where's his gear? But yeah, and fun RKO. I knew the second he did the pose, I'm like, oh, it's over for him here because RKO is the screen of nowhere.
His face though during the pose is once Randy Orton starts coming in and his face drops from just the smile to an absolute oh shit moment this is happening is hilarious to me.
And
I've
I thought
rewatched
someone,
that
oh,
clip over and over again of him just going oh
yeah, and I saw someone point out too the RKO like out of nowhere worked even better because he is like he doesn't even he's just looking straight like he has no reaction
Yeah,
because Randy would have been coming up to him but he's just looking straight forward and then he
yeah,
just comes out.
it's a
Yeah,
fun moment. Yeah. Well, good transition to we're talking about our last match, and then Espo's going to give us some draft results here, and we'll give a number on WrestleMania Night too. But quote from Triple H at the press conference saying, "Don't worry, Bailey will be just fine. True pro." Well, yeah, of course she'll be just fine. She's stuck there for 3 years, but yeah, I don't have much more to rant on this because you can go back to last night's episode. Overall, just wasn't a fan of any of this. The match was sorry, I should have said. Lyra's mystery partner, like we all guessed, was Becky Lynch versus Liv and Raquel. They beat them. To me, this was a very raw tag team match, like kind of like we talked about a New Day. Like even the New Day one, I think was better than this. And this was another like the Hendry one. It was for the moment, so that's where it started to fall off night two for me a little bit. And then obviously the kind of meh ending we got, but yeah, I just wish there was a different way to do this. If they said they knew this for weeks in advance, I don't know why you just don't do the special challenge. It sucks to me for Bailey, and I get it, but it's just I don't know. It made me. Oh, sorry. I guess we have Paul and AJ talk about. Sorry, we'll go back to that after. I did skip over that. But yeah, it just made me not invested in this. With the whole, I just don't like it. I'm not saying like I personally don't like Becky Lynch and I'm gonna lose sleep over it. It's just like I've liked the story with Lyra and Bailey, and I'm somebody that I get there is a position for part-timers, but it just feels very weird for Bailey to be the whole road to WrestleMania season story and then like you're just sat out. Like you could have you could have Becky return the night after in Raw, and I'm sure it's not that because what was a quote PWI said like, oh, she wouldn't return the Kratos, right? Well,
Yeah, I
like I
think
said
they pretty much said it was up to her when she wanted to return.
and to me, it's just like, so I said in the Discord, it's like, so the creative was don't do any WrestleMania season dates and screw over Bailey. That's great creative in my opinion. It's just like, yeah, I'm curious where, of course, you're going to get the big pop now, but I could see people turn on Becky. Now, luckily, they might want that. I hope they don't just do the Naomi Jade Bianca beat for beat story that
Her
Becky
new
attacked her.
motto and like on the merch and stuff seems to be back in business, which I mean could be a
Close enough,
best for
best to business.
business.
Yeah, close
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
So, and that might be the design, right? And maybe that's it. I do just hope then, fucking next year, Bailey better have a WrestleMania match that's not just the tag showcase, a 6-woman IC. Like, she better have something good. I know she did have EO last year. Don't get me wrong, but like that also could have main evented. They had a great story until they cooled them off because The Rock wasn't. I got a main event night one, brother. You know, like that's the way it was going. So like, I hope this is true, but
That's what Becky told Bailey right when
I
she was
gotta win the
like,
tag titles, brother. You know, like, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not gonna trust Triple H. Triple H lies all the time. He said, "Oh, it was an epic ending." Like, yeah, okay, sure it was. You know, all this stuff. I can't remember. There's something else in the press release said, "Oh, about him talking about Vince." We won't get into that. But yeah, this to me, I just was not. It's a wait and see, but I still just didn't like how this all went down. How you feeling about this, David?
The match itself was fine. I mean, once Becky came out and they did the whole backing up her countrymen thing, it seemed pretty set after that. They had a couple of spots, a couple of moments. The stare down between Becky and Liv was fun, but other than that, yeah, I agree with you. It's all overcast by the fact that you're still thinking Bailey was supposed to be in this match, and how many other women on the roster could you have used as Lyra's partner to get jumped in the back and taken out rather than Bailey?
Yeah, could put Maxine Dupree in there for a little bit,
yeah.
but like,
To
Yeah.
me, this is like the thing of like Becky beating Bianca in like 10 seconds or whatever it was. Like
hmm
in the moment and looking back at it, I think it's a dumb and like bad
yeah.
decision, but I think it'll lead to good
Yep.
stuff.
That's what they have to do, right? They got to follow up on it. It's the same thing of like the Rock stuff where it's like when he was friends with Cody and then they turned around and made it work, but now they've made it not work again. So that's just like an inner linking thing. And I do think you can do some good stuff there, especially because Lyra has the IC title, right? So if you can have her feuding with Bailey, Becky over that, that can hopefully raise some prestige. But it's just like I wish the inciting incident wasn't kind of a stickler point, right? Like something that kind of sucked. But
Yeah.
we'll see. But as was any thought on the actual match?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. Like I thought they had good chemistry, but yeah, it wasn't really that long, and it was just sort of like also just kind of ended abruptly. Like especially since a lot of other of like Liv and Raquel's like tag title matches have usually been these like long, lots of kick out type matches. When
Yeah.
she just ended it with the manhandle sounds like, oh, that's it, I guess.
Yeah.
But
This
one
is
thing I will
go
say
ahead.
is like it shows that like at least Triple H or someone is very in on Lyra Valkyria, like already
Absolutely.
double
Yep.
champion.
Oh yeah, great for
Yeah,
her. She had fucking awesome gear. Next to Bianca, she was my favorite
Yeah.
gear. I even loved
yeah.
her hair, had all that stuff, and like Lyra, like because I didn't see all her NXT work, but she is just a
She has
consistently
gotten a
great
lot better
worker.
than when she was in NXT.
Oh well, there you go. Then
Like definitely, like she definitely, and she
because I even
changed
heard
too.
good
Like
things about her in there. So
and you can see like she definitely when she got to the main roster, she definitely started like she does a lot more like power type moves now.
well, she should. She's built like a brick
Yeah,
shithouse. So
but
her,
even if you look at when she first got to the main roster to what she looks like now, she's definitely more focused on that.
oh yeah,
And
because yeah,
yeah,
her
and
back muscles.
her
It's great.
NXT run was like it wasn't very good. Like it was like just like a random like it wasn't like even a transitional reign. It was just like a badly booked
Mm,
reign. Like she would just like take pins and like tag matches to like set up matches just to like random people, and then she had like one like PLE title defense and then just like lost it and got called up. Like she's had a
yeah.
better run on main roster in just like a year, even with like the Pure Fusion Collective like Vortex. I think the stuff in the recent months has like completely overshadowed, and I think she has a good personality and obviously great in ring, and I think she's just great.
Yeah, and that's just one thing they need to do because they have the IC title. And I'm not with everybody when like, oh, she's doing nothing. It's like, well, no, she's defending the title, but now you do need a story eventually, right? And I think this is hopefully what it's going to be. And no, I definitely like her. And no, to me, she reminds me a little more progress because she has like the woo thing and she has the bird stuff. But she reminds me of when Daniel Bryan was in WWE to start, like just great wrestler, but like a little vanilla character wise, but like he could always like you could see something there. So she reminds me of like a little Brian in a sense, and I think that she's just gonna get better and better, and the ring skills there. So we'll see what happens with the story. And yeah, just a moment match, but yeah, good for her, double champ. Who has her in the draft actually? Who has her in the draft? I forgot about
Draft.
that. Or does none of us have?
do.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah! Which I can't wait to lose all the points at some point. But finally, our last match. I forgot about this before we get in the draft. AJ versus Logan Paul. Completely set aside. Like I said, I'm always the biggest Logan Paul fan. This match I thought was fine. I thought this was like not as athletic as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be just a very kind of a spot fest, and they tried not to do that. So I can applaud them for that, but it just didn't work. And I think also the stuff with Logan and his phone and the drone just didn't work. It's like I said in the opening with the trash squad, I just felt like this was more like Logan Paul paid WWE $1 million so I could advertise myself. It did not feel where other years, like when he was the US title, even the match with Seth, those felt more natural. This felt like, funny enough, back in the day when CM Punk didn't want to wrestle Triple H, it felt like when Triple H had to be on the card. That's what this felt like. Of Logan Paul just has to be there. I would rather just, hey, put his Prime stuff everywhere, give him a skit, whatever, a segment, cool. But
I honestly would have liked this match if it had like the Prime bottle type stuff. Like that adds like a bit of fun, and like the person in the bottle will always get hit by something or
yes.
taking a big move. So
Yeah.
I don't know. My main complaint of this match is just like I don't know how long it was, but it felt like it was like 25 minutes long.
It was 17 minutes. It felt to me. It felt long, and it's funny that it luckily didn't like kill the crowd, but it definitely brought it to a halt. Like the whole night, the crowd was hot, and that was the time where everyone kind of cooled off, and people were there for the entrances. People were chanting for AJ, but it's 17 minutes. Like if you're getting 15 minutes plus, you got to have, to me, a 4-star match, in my opinion. You got, and this was not that. This was like I'd say like a 3.25. I know that's a weird rating, but it's just like I can't say a 3, but not a 3.5. And I hate like that fucking guy that always interferes in the match. I hate that that's become like his solo where he just goes there.
I don't even know who that is because he's not even like one of the guys on like his podcast or
That's all we
anything.
know is Jeff.
Yeah, it's just Jeff.
Because
It's
he's
just-
had
it's a
like
lame
they
gimmick.
did like his podcast guys interfere one time, but I have
Yeah.
generally no clue who this Jeff guy is.
But he's been there a few
Yeah,
times.
I know, like
interfering.
he's shown up multiple times, but I mean like it's
Yeah.
like why if you're gonna have somebody interfere, do like the guy does the podcast, and they did it like the first time. I think like that's the
Or his
like,
brother,
the crown
right?
jewel match. Yeah. I mean that's the crown jewel match. He has like
Yeah.
his friends. Jake Paul comes in, but this one, yeah, just Jeff. No one really
He's
knows
apparently
who he is.
Logan's manager.
Cool.
Okay.
Great. He's no charisma. And then I forgot to mention, we got this moment where he goes for the Nux. AJ hits, or Karen Cross out of nowhere hits him, and he gives AJ the Nux, and AJ throws him away. Again, just like EO and the Dominic thing, it's the same finish as the Cody match where good guy can't use weapon and he gets bit in the ass for it. Again, these producers just got to meet up and be like, hey, what ending are you doing? Okay, we can't do that. I was really hoping AJ just used the Nux and went on, but I guess we're going to get more of Karrion Kross and AJ feuding, and I didn't see that match of AJ and Karrion Kross. I missed it, but my timeline told me enough that Karrion Kross is... he doesn't have the chutzpah like people were hoping. So
Yeah, no.
overall, this was a waste. This was probably, I don't think it's the worst match of the weekend, but it's probably my least favorite match because it just took up so much time. I would have rather now them do the spot fest, and I hated the camera stuff. So yeah, my least favorite match.
The drone thing, it kept getting to the point where I'm like, all right, we're either gonna do this or we're not gonna do this. Honestly, this would have, even though they did great with their street fight, this would have worked more. Logan works more in a street fight setting where you can go in the crowd, you can have those weird spotty moments, and he can do that stuff like with the drone or with the interactions with the people, and it's not as jarring to the match. When you try to have a straight up wrestling match and then you keep involving these drones and having these camera things and having your spots with Prime and then your friends interfere, it kind of takes it out of it. Either do one or do the other. Either you're going to have a gimmick match or you're going to have a wrestling match. Logan needs to stay in a straight up gimmick match and just call it a day.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Bubs?
Not really. Like, yeah, I'd say for me, you said it's your not the worst but least favorite. I would probably say it was my the worst and least favorite. Like
It's your
this one,
both, yeah.
I would
That's
give a
fair.
fail. I'd give like a 2.5.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Jeez, yeah.
It's both the worst and my
Like
least
I'd say
favorite.
2.5 because it wasn't like a terrible match, but I just wasn't interested at all and just way too long. And yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
no.
like it.
You guys have talked me into thinking I'm being too generous because I guess I go there athletic, but yeah, you guys have made some points. So, yeah, let's do a rating, and then we'll get the points. David, overall night 2, what would you give it out of 10?
Overall, out of 10, I am going to give it probably 7.5, 8-ish. I'll have to rewatch some beats to give it an 8. It could have been higher. It could have been a solid 8.5, but that ending drops it off, and then the Logan Paul match drops it off. So, you know what? I'm gonna settle with an 8 because the opening match absolutely killed it. Drew and Damian Priest was great. The spot fest that was the Fatal 4-Way was great. The Joe Hendry pop was fun. And then most of Cena and Cody were great matches. So I'm gonna go 8.
Yeah. What about you, Bubs?
Yeah, I'd say I'd probably because yesterday I was undecided on my night 1 score. I think I'll go with like a 7 for my night 1 score, and for tonight, I'm trying to think because it's like I'm trying to balance out like the stuff I loved versus the stuff I didn't really like, especially towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'll probably go with like an 8 out of 10 just because I think just rewatching those first 3 matches, I think is like that could be your WrestleMania.
Yeah. No, I think for me, I can't get right tonight. I'm gonna go 7.5. I gave last night a 6, so a little bit better. But for me, yeah, if you talk those first 3 matches, we're on the way to like anywhere from like a 9, 10 rating for me. That was great. And even the main event, if that didn't underwhelm, then I would for sure be an 8. That 0.5 is why I can't get it there. Could have been 8, maybe even higher. But
Yeah.
and
So
that's the thing.
I'm torn between 7.5 and 8 because it's like I have like
You don't
literally
like your
like a
point
5
fives.
star match at the start. Yeah,
Yes.
but
Yeah, and that's the thing where for me it's like it sounds weird. It's not because of Joe Hendry, but that match to Joe Hendry Randy Orton, that's where it like takes a switch of you got that, you got the tag, you got AJ and Logan Paul. It's almost like last night where it's like you get the 3 in a row that were meh, and then we got LA and Jacob. It's like, oh, finally, where this
you
was a
do
verse where
the super cut where you have
absolutely.
those 3 at the start, and then you put Tiffany and Punk at the end.
Yeah, and like that's the thing, like it is a bit longer, but the way they did it tonight, I guess that'd be you could cut some things. I did see the sentiment, and I kind of agree they won't do this because money, but this WrestleMania could have been one night. You could have cut Grande and Rhea Phoenix. You could have cut New Day and Viking Raiders. There's other things you could have cut. I think it could have been a 5.5 hour one WrestleMania. That's it. Like I know there's some big moments that you go, oh, how could you not end with the Heyman stuff? But that's happened WrestleMania before where there's been twists and turns. I just think that this year you could have done one night. I think it was justified, but we'll see. So, S Bubs, how are we doing in the draft here? I'm going to quickly read off everyone's person
Yeah.
here so people know because we did this last night and then we started talking and we just completely forgot. My bad as a host, forgot who or the points. But S Bubs has John Cena. So, congrats on the main event and the points there. John Cena, Gunther, Penta, Io Sky, Naomi, Bailey, Jimmy Uso, Phoenix, Roxanne Perez, Rusev, and then Jobber is solo. So, for people that don't know, the rest of the picks are for wins, championships, main events, that stuff. Your jobber pick is you want them to lose to get points. My picks are Rhea Ripley, Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Charlotte Flair, Jey Uso, Randy Orton, Liv Morgan, Jacob Fatu, Aleister Black, Lyra Valkyria, and then my jobber is Austin Theory. And David has Cody Rhodes, Bianca Belair, CM Punk, Chelsea Green, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Finn Balor, and Montez Ford. And his jobber is the newly winner crowned Andre Battle Royal 2025 Carmelo Hayes. So, S-Bub, hit us with these points and what ranking we're at here.
What order should I go in?
Last,
Should I just-
give us last. Let's see who's last.
Okay, well, starting with David. David is well, actually, I'm not counting the bonus. I guess. Well, I'll read them out, but I haven't like added them together to see who's actually. But David for normal points is at negative 44 points.
Oh no!
Because Bianca Belair is a minus 50, Cody Rhodes is a minus 8, and LA Knight is a minus 8.
Oh yeah, I
But
forgot about
he
those.
got 2 main events, so he's at 40 bonus points. So I think it rounds up
He's in
to
the
a
positive
negative
now.
4.
Oh no, he's
Yeah.
in negative 4. So he's
Yeah.
almost in the positives. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. Okay. You got a mountain to climb, but hey, you did that last year. Hopefully you can climb it quicker. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully, at least I still have Tiffy to get me some points.
Yeah, at least you got some champions. At least, hey, you can get Cody when he gets the comeback there. So, all right. Why am I in second, S-Bubs?
Then for Tris, you for normal
Fucking
points
Charlotte.
you're at negative 26 points.
No, God.
But you have 30 bonus points because you got your 1 main event
Yeah.
for
Seth.
Seth, and
Yeah.
you got 10 bonus Cerro Miedo points because he had 7 Cerro Miedos.
Yes, I got the Zarameros. That's awesome. Yeah,
And
okay.
so yeah, I guess you're at a positive 4 because
Nice,
yeah, it
okay.
was
So Dave's
negative
negative
8
4,
for
I'm
Braun,
4.
negative 50 for Charlotte, negative 8 for Liv, but you got 10 for Lyra, 10 for Jacob, 10 for Jay, and Seth won as well, and Randy.
Shouldn't I get more for Jake because he was a success? Did we do a successful
No,
one? Or
there's
we
no
just did the
successful.
failures? Oh,
It's just
God
failure.
damn it. Why did I agree to that? But okay. Goddamn Charlotte. Couldn't have. Why didn't you politic your way to win? Okay. What do you. So David's negative 4. I'm 4. What are you at, S-Bubs?
For normal points, I'm at 14.
God damn.
So I got 10 for Cena, negative 8 for Gunther, and 6 for EO retaining the title. And I have 20 bonus points for Cena main event. So I guess total I'm like at 34.
34. Okay, so me and David got a big hill to climb, but hey, it's just starting out. And luckily, I think this year it's gonna be a wild year. Tough to predict a lot of things with how it's gonna go. So the draft has started, same order as it ended last time. With S-Bub's first, me second.
I'm happy
David.
we actually got the failed like Rumble and Chamber wins because we didn't. I don't think any of us drafted any of the losers at least for that first pick. Like when it would have applied.
No, we didn't. Yeah, because it was
so-
Cody and who's the female
and the Money in the
winner?
Bank's both Bailey.
Right, it was. Yeah,
I had
yeah.
both.
Well, no, didn't someone got negative for Drew, right? Because he tried to cash it and he failed last year, right?
That was me also.
That's you, yeah, dude, yeah. So, well, we'll see. Well, congrats, I suppose, on taking the first lead there. But yeah, we've done it. We've reviewed both nights of WrestleMania. Not sure when is Backlash. I think we'll be back before
Backlash
that.
May
is
10th.
May 10th.
May 10th. Okay, yeah, we'll
So
definitely be before that. Yeah.
3 weeks
Okay.
from now.
Yeah,
'cause-
and I'm about 50-50 on I may actually be at Backlash. So
there
yeah,
you go.
so
So that might be an
we'll do
S-Bubs
it
Travis
before
episode.
it.
Well, yeah, or we'll do one before and then we can do one after. We'll see what happens. We'll look at the schedules. But yeah, in May
You
we're
can
gonna start
call
going.
in from the arena after.
Yeah,
Get
from your
live
Uber,
reaction.
yeah. Yeah, so or we can always just do the day after too, or something like
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we'll probably do that because I forgot. I'm always forgetting that the pay-per-views are on Saturday. So yeah, look out for that. That'll be our next episode. We'll do.
That's just really not that far away. Like they have like this like Raw after Mania,
Yeah.
and then 2 more Raws, and then that's pretty much already Backlash.
Yeah. So yeah, and then in May we'll be doing the bi-weekly. So we usually have one at the beginning of the month, one at the end of the month, and we'll go from there. And yeah, just look at the schedule down below. I have the feed if you want just the gimmick feed to not miss an episode. It's there. I always try to announce like a week in advance when we're doing our episodes. But no, this was a good time. Thank you guys for being on both these episodes. It was a very good time. Obviously, you know, sometimes it sucks when you get that ending, but it's fun when you get to just sit here and shoot the shit forbidden. We'll see. Are we gonna get our Malachi Black Cody feud? Cena said he didn't talk on the presser. He's just talking on Raw. Raw, so hopefully there's some big stuff there. It's gonna be interesting because I feel like they're, Triple H is he's gonna get on that phone and he's gonna be pacing around all night, mad about the worst WrestleMania ending, and he should deliver a big
He's
show.
gonna
But
call in anyone. He's gonna raid NXT, just get like 50 debuts just to make people happy.
Sean, I need a favor.
yeah, Sean's gonna wrestle Cena again, thrice in a
Sean,
lifetime.
I gotta have Sol Ruka vacate. I need her on Raw tomorrow.
They just start over. They're like, oh, all championships have been vacated.
like the WCW.
WCW.
Yeah, just vacate. We're crowning all of them on Raw tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's my pitch. That's
So
what
you get
Triple H's gonna do.
5 million viewers on
I
Raw.
really need Stephanie Vick here. You know that the leg move thing she does, the head scissors. I need that on Raw stat because they're not liking the story.
We're doing Rhea versus Stephanie in the main tomorrow night, Sean.
That's going to be 1 billion views on Twitter. Billion views on Twitter. But yes, until
I'm taking
then,
Tuesday off.
yeah. Until then, it will not be boring. We'll be back next month in a couple weeks, and we'll talk to you then. Have a good one.